Welcome to the Opera Now podcast. This week, in the boardroom. In the boardroom. This week we are in The Apprentice. We're pitching our... It does look like we're pitching a podcast. I'm Hattie Butterworth, I'm the editor of Opera Now, and I'm joined by my colleagues Jonathan Whiting, who previously worked with us at Opera Now and is now a freelance content creator, writer, legend. And he's also wearing a t-shirt that says, "This guy loves opera."
Yeah, I'm sorry I've done a visual gag on an audio format.
It's a bright red t-shirt with two thumbs on it pointing to this guy loves opera.
It's actually awful.
It's horrible, yeah, but you wouldn't want anyone to get the wrong idea.
Can I ask how much you spent on it?
No.
Okay, fine.
You can't.
Fine.
You can't ask that.
Where'd you get it? Redbubble?
Etsy.
I was just about to say Etsy.
Where else?
I was going to say Etsy.
And then Holly Baker, who is editorial assistant on Opera Now magazine. The news, Holly. What are we talking about first?
First port of call is, it always seems to be American news.
So the drama's happening.
More American news. Peter Gelb, general manager at the Met, has announced that he will be leaving at the end of his contract in 2030. He told the Associated Press that that was the plan, to sort of be concluding his time then. His contract got renewed last year when the Met signed their deal with Saudi Arabia to have that sort of winter residency at the Saudi Arabia Opera House. This year, he joined in 2006, so this year is actually his 20th year in the role, and it makes him the third longest general manager that the Met's ever had. And yeah, during his tenure, he's really expanded the company's repertoire. They have like the Met's, I think it's the Met Opera commissioning program. Seen lots of new opera, 122 new productions, I think, 41 Met premieres, lots of Met commissions. But yeah, 20 years.
Some funding crises.
Funding crises.
That's true.
He's really handled them through some financial issues, and obviously like the climax of that, this sort of, did we speak about it last podcast, this sort of like millions Saudi deal, which actually hasn't come to fruition yet. They're sort of doing lots of like layoffs and pay cuts to try and scrounge some money elsewhere, but if that deal comes off, it will see them for 5 years, the Met performing in Saudi during the winter.
Is it normal, or is it him announcing that he's going to retire in 4 years' time? I know it's about a contract.
Yeah, well, because it's interesting, because sort of the reports are that like he is planning to announce his retirement,
Which is it's a planning to announce
which is different than announcing a retirement. But basically, when asked about if he is going to renew his contract when it concludes in 2030, or if that'll be his end, his answer was sort of that's the plan for me to leave then.
But that is, for like conductors, they will often renew for 5 years or whatever.
True.
And then they might be like, that'll be the end.
To be fair, this gives him time, that he's announced that he's, planning to conclude then, because they've got to look at some successes, I suppose.
Yeah, they've got to interview the next people.
But yeah, I was going to say something. He's really taking them through some financial hardships. Oh yeah, and he's also, what kind of raised eyebrows is, and I think there was a really interesting article, not in the most recent Opera Now, but beforehand, of sort of morality in the opera houses, that was written by Andrew Mellor, because he obviously has done this deal with Saudi Arabia, which has questionable things
Human
going
rights.
on. Human rights
Moralistic
issues, some could say kind of similar to what we were saying in the last episodes. People are so desperate for money that they maybe don't look at where it's coming from as much. But one thing he has come down very hard on is Ukraine, and
Because of his wife.
because of his Ukrainian wife, and
probably he's very passionate anyway.
but he's come down very hard on Russians' invasion of Ukraine, and has been very strict on the Russian soprano,
Anna Netrebko,
and not
performing at the Met.
her not performing at the Met anymore. And I think he I mean, I'm going to get this title wrong, but I think because of this strong stance he's taken and then subsequently the Met has taken, I think he's received some sort of like merit distinguishment from the president of Ukraine.
Zelensky,
yeah. But yeah, so he's announced his retirement,
interesting.
but still
lots
happening at the Met.
He's an interesting one because, as you say, I think he's really championed new music, but a lot of people have been sort of questioning whether the type of productions that he's sort of commissioned are they kind of cheapening opera?
Well, when I was reading up on him, there's interesting statistics, because there's statistics of like he's had this much new opera and he's got this many productions up in his time, but then also statistics that said the prices have gone up in his time as well.
Interesting. It kind of leads on to the new season, which is sort of different. It's sort of making what's the word? It's making a different statement this year, because usually they begin with a new production of a new work or a contemporary work. But this year they're opening with Verdi's Macbeth, with Lisa Davidson as Lady Macbeth, Quinn Kelsey as Macbeth, and Freddie De Tomaso as Macduff. So this is interesting because, usually there's kind of, I don't know whether it's a financial decision to start with opera like that.
I feel like if it was, though, why would you pick Macbeth?
Well, it's quite. I mean, it's quite a household name, maybe.
That's true, but you don't have to. You don't have to worry about that too much with the Met. I mean, if it's just a big Verdi opera, you'd be all right.
People are gonna go. It's the Met season launch. I did go a few years ago, and it was insane. Like Ben Stiller was there. Whoopi Goldberg was there.
Yeah, it brings the stars in. It brings.
Didn't matter what they were saying. I was
Hattie
there.
was there. Yeah.
My brother was there.
Wait, that's so fun.
He still brings it up.
Did you go with Opera Now?
I went with Opera Now.
Wait, that's so fun.
Can we go?
Yes.
Yeah, can we go? Can we go see Macbeth?
But what is also exciting about the new season is there's a world premiere of Missy Mazzoli's new opera Lincoln in the Bardo. Thank you to Peter Gelb for commissioning a woman on the main stage, which I'm sorry to say the Royal Opera House still hasn't done, still not been a main stage production by a woman composer. But Missy Mazzoli, who's written so many operas, Breaking the Waves is one of her most famous ones, The Listeners is another recent one. She's a fantastic modern voice. So this is coming in the fall. Other highlights in
Americans
the fall.
creeping in.
Silent Night, an opera by Kevin Putz, who wrote that song cycle with Joyce DiDonato.
That was very
Gosh,
exciting.
Emily No Prisoner B.
Emily No Prisoner B. His opera Silent Night.
We couldn't get one of those songs out of our head.
Inspired by the Christmas Truce of 1914.
Oh, yeah.
That's coming.
I remember.
Some exciting debuts as well. Dalia Stasevska, who we love. She is making her Met conducting debut.
That is really, really cool.
And that's with Silent Night. She's making her conducting debut.
That'll be fun.
And our very favourite Natalia Romano, who has been praised for her portrayal of Tosca many times last year, both at the Royal Opera and also at the Welsh National Opera. She's making her Met debut in Tosca as Tosca.
Don't get bigger than that.
2027.
Also very, very cool.
So those are kind of some of the highlights. There are obviously lots of revivals.
Yeah, I mean, there's sort of classic revivals as well. They're going to be their sort of money makers.
Loads of big singers like Igor Akabetchina is doing Samson and Delilah. Angel Blue is doing Otello. Lisette Oropesa, Maria Stuarda. Nadine Sierra is doing Manon. Rachel Willis Sorensen is doing De Rosenkavalier with Emily D'Angelo as well. So yeah, lots of stuff. Lots and lots of stuff. Any highlights for you, Johnny? Would you rather I didn't ask?
Well, I've never actually been to the Met.
It's really cool.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
They have
I'm so
instead of
jealous.
subtitles, you have little subtitles on the back of the seat.
Yeah,
in
a
front.
lot of them place
You're
up that.
joking.
The Vienna Startopper has that.
So cool.
You can pick what the opera and the opera
No,
house.
no,
and,
I
okay.
know. I was saying
We're not at the Teach Holly bit yet.
I was saying what are the fact that it's on the back of the seats. I've never seen that.
Yeah, you
It's
can
really
change what language they're in.
It's amazing.
They're really good.
That's the forefront of technology.
And the seats are super comfy.
Oh my god!
You
I
wouldn't watch
bet.
the opera. You'd be just staring at the.
Well, I do raise that as a question. Are you not looking down a bit as opposed to looking up?
Bit like tennis, but up and down.
Like tennis.
So not like tennis.
Well, tennis if you laid down.
Bit like the curling.
A bit like.
That's more.
Where I stood in the Venus Startopper, it was sort of like there, like it was coming down from the ceiling, and
As
so
well?
you could. It was like just in
Oh.
front of me,
Oh,
like
just in front of
think
you.
of like a
Because you
foot
were
in front of
stood.
me. Okay, don't say it like that.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know
You
you were standing.
stood at the opera.
I didn't know you were standing.
Yeah, you can stand in operas as well,
No,
by the
I
way.
knew that.
No, it was because I got it like last minute because I really wanted to see just anything there.
Yeah,
whilst I was
that's
in
really
Vienna.
cool, to be fair.
But yeah, just being able to change the language is very exciting. I mean, like places where I went when I went to see Pelléas and Mélisande in Geneva, it has both English and French on there, which is actually quite a lot to get through.
So anyway,
Anyway, moving on. Is Andrew Mellor's column called the Prompter Box?
Yes.
it's called Prompter because of the prompter box. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's genuinely my only knowledge of prompter box.
So
whatever.
my first experience, well, my first sort of, I believed that prompters and prompter boxes didn't exist anymore, or were very rare. But that is only because they don't usually have them at the Royal Opera House and things like that. Anyway, what they are is at the very front of the stage, before you get to the pit, there is a little sort of space or a little box where someone can sit in it.
Oh, and prompt people if they forget their lines.
Well, hopefully they sort of prompt them sort of what's next, not if they don't go like line.
Oh, that's what I was
Sort of
thinking.
whatever.
Do they hold up something?
They usually speak to them or like sort of talk to them, but hopefully that
Mouth it to them.
mouth it to them. So they'll sort of tell them what the next line is. Sometimes they could sometimes be like assistant music directors and I've been told they can sometimes conduct as well, or sort of bring people in that might not be able to see the main conductor, but they're sort of there with the script or the score, and they can sort of tell what the next line is essentially.
But how are they communicating? I don't really understand.
It's sometimes spoken, literally.
But the audience can't hear it.
Yeah, well, hopefully not, but because
Well,
they're
'cause
facing
the orchestra's
away.
behind them as well, I suppose.
And they're
so-
facing into the theatre. I mean, there's a very famous example of Maria Callas. I can't remember where it was, but she got so annoyed that she couldn't hear the prompter that during sort of after an aria, she bowed in front of the prompter box and said "louder" in Italian, più forte, but she did yell louder.
So she relied on a prompter.
A lot more singers do than I had realised, because again they don't usually do it here at the Opera House, at the Royal Opera House. I don't think they do it at the ENO. People could tell me if I'm wrong, but I've because of that I've never looked out for it when I've gone to sort of European opera houses. But it's very common apparently in Europe to have people in these boxes sort of just so it sort of goes smoothly. So there's no sort of
So they're looking for the terrified faces.
I guess there's a rapport between the singer and the prompter, and it's just part of how you put a show on, and it's just part of how it goes.
But do you think do older singers rely on it more heavily as the memory rusts?
Well, as I said that the Royal Opera House doesn't do it. I have heard that it does do it
For Angela.
Okay, we're gonna name. Okay.
For
Sue
who?
for defamation.
Giorgio.
Angela Giorgio didn't, or I mean, she is definitely probably not the only person. But they can do it if the singers are used to it, or it's a particularly long show.
I wonder if there'll be one for Siegfried.
I feel
How
like
long is
there's
Siegfried?
really
A
long.
particularly long show.
It's like 4.5 hours. 4 hours.
Oh yeah, fair.
So we're going to talk about operas.
Oh yeah,
We've
operas
seen.
we've
Well,
seen recently.
We're
Hopefully.
going to talk about some operas we've seen recently. We both went to see
Yeah, we went to go see
Così
Così
fan
fan tutte at the beginning of February at the E&O. We both went on its press night.
I went twice. Again,
You
sounds like I'm
loved it.
bragging.
Yeah.
Well, I took my dad the week later because he came, and it was so different second time.
That's
Really?
interesting that you said that.
Mm.
I remember you saying it was different the second time. You enjoyed it more, no?
Yeah,
Did you know the show before you saw it?
I did.
Okay.
I didn't know the production, but I knew the music.
I went in pretty blind. I think I maybe like read the synopsis on the tube on the way there. That was it.
Thoughts?
So this, yeah, obviously I've just not seen that many operas, or at least I've not seen it as many as you, Hattie. So this is kind of another sort of new foray, for me.
Load start.
My second time seeing something at the E&O. First one was Marriage of Figaro. This one was another Mozart, I guess.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. Like, I mean, I don't have the air to be critiquing the singers. I mean, I thought they were really good. That could be
That doesn't mean that
disproved.
what you think isn't
I appreciate that.
worth hearing.
Well, based on entertainment value, I just really quite liked it. I liked the production. I liked the sort of Coney Island 1950s set. I liked that it didn't take itself too seriously, because I feel like with an opera of that plot, which actually, if you think about it, is kind of harsh and maybe a bit sexist.
Yeah, the things
and
that people would have found funny are not what people find funny in it now.
But it never took itself too seriously. It was very tongue-in-cheek. I thought the circus performance, because we discussed this actually, I think the circus performances were fun, although I think they kind of came in quite late. There was a sort of the overture where all these circus performers were, and that was cool. And they were sort of like fire breathers, and someone had a sword down his throat, and someone was really tall, and there's like acrobats. But then when they actually got involved in the show, it was quite late, and I was kind of like waiting for like, how does this relate to a circus? Like, I'm a bit confused.
I was going to ask, because I know the show, but I don't know that production. Why was it circus? Or how did they fit in? Because it's just set in like, it's like a cafe at the beginning and just their house.
They're just cool. They're kind of hanging out at the start. They're hanging out with Despina and Don Alfonso.
Yeah.
And then they kind of, when the sisters are chit-chatting,
Yeah.
they're acrobating in the background.
They're kind of like, it's
casual acrobatic.
well, it's
Genuinely is casual
like,
acrobatic.
it's like a fairground. So there's sort of like, there's teacup rides, and there's like,
Okay.
at one point she sings a big aria, and she's on like a Ferris wheel, I suppose. And
Oh, she's not. She's on a hot air balloon.
Oh, it's a hot air balloon. That's it. She's like going round.
Cute.
It is. That was really nice. And so I think they're just kind of like, the circus is just part of the fairground.
Just there. It just happened
It's
to
just
happen
quite,
where
it's
a
quite a fun
circus was
element, to be
happening.
fair. And to be fair, it wasn't. I think with the concern with that would have been that it was suddenly like the circus acts become the main event, and they weren't. In fairness, like they
Yeah,
were
that's
like very.
If anything, like I was worried they were underutilized.
Well,
The
I
chorus
mean,
don't do very much in
no,
that show.
they
as well.
were also like
The chorus,
mainly
man.
silent.
I
I
felt
would
really
say.
bad for
They have like a
them.
couple of numbers.
like maybe
like
two.
two.
Yeah, but then that's the same in The Marriage of Figaro and the same in Don Giovanni. The chorus do so little.
Yeah.
Good gig though.
Such a good game.
But the main four were great. I thought Despina and Don Alfonso were great. Despina is sort of like the motel maid.
Oh, she's
she
so.
was
Despina's one of the
great.
best.
It's my
roles.
favourite character
Such
ever.
a good
Really?
role.
And can't remember who played her. But whoever's
great.
playing Despina in Così fan tutte,
Was it good in English?
very good. Do you know what? Yes,
Yeah,
It's a
I
good
thought it was a great
translation.
translation.
it's a very good translation.
But why did you like it better upon second time?
Oh yeah, that's good.
I felt more focused. So I went first time with Alexandra Coughlin, and we both agreed that the sound was weird. We were like slightly further back in the stalls. Boohoo. And then with
I
my
was close.
dad,
You know you could stand as well.
I was closer.
my dad and I on the second time were further forward and to the right. Plus,
I was further forward on the right when I went and saw it.
let's
Sorry,
stop comparing
sorry.
where in the stalls.
Sorry.
and you can just, I felt
Georgia
like
Cup.
I could hear more of the English, like a lot more clearly, and everyone's voice had settled so much more. So Lucy Crowe, who was Fiordaligi, Thank you.
Great
Very
name.
wonderful. You know, I was incredibly excited to hear her sing because I'd not heard her sing and I'd heard so many great things. On the first night, I was a bit like, what's the fuss all about? When I went back with my dad, I was completely bowled over by her voice. I was really
And I guess that's the
stunned.
difference from opening night to
Yeah.
coming in.
I was really glad I got to see it twice.
Did it have how many shows did it have? Because they're doing it up in Manchester, doing like a semi-stage.
A semi thing. Not sure. Not too sure. But it was happening alongside The Rise and Fall of the City of Mahogany by Kurt Weill.
Mahagoni, which is a word I had not said correctly until I'd watched.
Mahagoni.
Mahagoni.
Well, I've been saying mahogany this
Yes,
whole
so
time.
had I until I
and
was
that-
singing
It
Mahagoni.
wasn't until we put the review up that I realised it's not
It's not
mahogany.
mahogany, no.
Not at all.
It's
You
not.
saw that at the ENO?
Yes, another E&O. A show I did not know at all. I knew sort of the Brecht and the Kurt Weill sound. I mean, it's so iconic.
An operetta lover, as you are.
Yes, operetta. We've got dialogue. And again, translation from German into English. It was a really interesting experience. Because the first thing that struck me is that I saw the opening night of a three night run. It was Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and so maybe by the final night it would have been different. That's not a good way of starting.
Just be honest.
It felt like a dress rehearsal,
Whoa.
and I think part of it's down to Brecht. So let's blame Brecht, because Brecht's thing is about, when we spoke about realism in a past podcast, how we want realistic, we want to imagine these characters.
Verissimo.
Yeah, exactly. Going, we want to believe these characters and what they're saying, what they're thinking. He almost goes even further, and now we want to believe that they are singers on a stage in a theatre, that they are in a show. We're not thinking these are a character in a place. We've got to be constantly reminded that we're in a theatre, we're watching art.
That was his thing with drama, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What was it? What's that called?
I don't know if it was just realism or just like Brechtian.
No, Brechtian.
Yeah, just Brecht.
But it's called something that sort of trait of like you're being aware that they are.
He doesn't like escapism he doesn't want you to escape. He wants you to be sort of, this is what, like a mirror to society. This is what's happening. He doesn't want you to feel like, oh great, Così fan tutte. He wants to be like, this is society.
So
hedonism.
were you assaulted by society?
Yes. But what I was going to say that the classic Brecht thing, and you see it all the time, is that they take off all the sets, so you just see the theatre, which was exciting once. But in a post-Jamie Lloyd society, it's not that exciting anymore. And also it just sucks up the sound because you haven't got a stage or a set to bounce anything out.
But there was set design.
There was definitely set. There was like this cube that sort of would rotate and would be like it just multi sort of purpose space. And there was, and then there were props and set of sunbeds and travelators and lights and things.
Well, not to. Oh, sorry.
No.
You can continue.
No,
I was
so-
going to say not to out you, but
That's already happened.
not not to expose you, but I do know that you didn't particularly like the show.
Yeah, go on.
But I saw some really good reviews of it as well. Some places were giving it, and obviously
It's
like
so
yeah.
How did you feel when you...
because there were some like 5-star reviews, but I obviously like I want your honest opinion now, and that's not to say those people are right
It was
at all.
such
But
an odd. I've never been in an audience that's been so sort of I wouldn't say uncomfortable, but like you can feel this in the audience. I've never been in an audience where I've heard boos before, and I mean
I've never heard boos.
But I went with my friend. He was like, "There's people booing," and then you can just about hear it. Just people.
Were
back
you
around.
influenced by the booze then, do you reckon?
No, because I'd made my decision by that point.
You didn't need the booze. You were...
I think that it's just. I mean, Brecht and Kurt Weill it's always been divisive. Again, we spoke in the last one about sort of the musical theatre opera. It's sort of in the middle. It's sometimes too much of one for the other, too much of the other for the other, and it's got some brilliant music and some brilliant. I mean, his orchestra is just so fun because it does feel a bit more sort of. I'm gonna say candor and ebb, but it does feel a lot more sort of musical, theatre-y, clubby, because we've now got like saxophones, and this classic is like almost all of his songs start like that, and it's great. I think it's more the fact is that we really get the idea that this is a sort of dystopian, hedonistic sort of there's sort of they just want to eat, they just want to have sex. There's just this that we get it. I think that's the thing. Maybe also we're like, yeah, we get this is a reflection of society and how bad it is, and maybe the world it is today, we get it, and it's sort of enough. I think also just the fact that it just felt like with like the blocking, it just felt like it was just like, what do we do this scene? Oh, let's just have them walking on travel ages. What should we do in this scene? Oh, let's have them just swinging a light round. What should we do in this scene? Oh, let's just have them like walking, getting undressed and walking around. It just felt like, what should we do next? What should we do next? It was like, we've just got time to fill. It didn't feel like there was sort of an overarching concept when it came to the direction.
So what would you say like was your main issue with it? Was it the singing, the production, like the set? Like what was it that really?
The singing was good, and
But what was it that really like tipped you over the edge to being like, okay, cool?
I think it didn't feel like. Partially, maybe it didn't feel like it was trying to do anything new, but also I think it was just a bit disjointed, and we didn't feel like there was a point of view.
You didn't get the vision.
No.
Okay.
But people did. No, plenty of people did, and plenty of people will say that that sort of feeling of disjointedness is the whole point of Brecht, but it just didn't work for me.
Didn't tickle your fancy.
But
What were you gonna say?
do you think an audience how would they respond? Did you feel the audience were responding similarly to you?
Yes, I did, which is why I was quite surprised to see raving reviews.
I saw 5 stars.
I was expecting sort of 2 to 4, like your classic middle ground.
Yeah, not like 4, 5.
No, like 2. I was thinking between 2 and 3, to be honest.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And
interesting.
I wonder. I mean,
That's how I felt about Feston.
Yeah.
I do wonder if I'd have seen it on the third night, either its final night, if it would have been much better.
How was Daniela Denise?
Brilliant. Oh, the costumes.
Oh, you like
The
the
girls'
costume?
costumes were great. It was like a mix between like Ab Fab.
They had
and,
like crazy wigs. And
Yeah, it was
stuff.
like a mixture of
I
like
saw that.
Adina Monsoon and like the Capitol. Do people get both those references?
In Hunger Games.
Yeah, and Ab Fab. Do you know Ab Fab?
Oh, of course I know.
Okay, good.
Got picked up exactly what you put out
And
there.
it was, and there was like a campness, and I was like, I wish there was more of that.
Okay.
I think that was
in the
the-
direction you mean.
Yeah, I was like, this could be a lot more campier.
Rather than Travelator, you want to.
Yeah, and some of them looked a bit funny walking on the Travelator.
Well, they weren't like duck walking on the Travelator.
No, they probably should have been.
Oh,
They had cases. I just feel like there should be more. But also like
wasn't gay enough for Johnny.
the character. Oh, his name is like Big Bin or something like that. Big Kin, the main tenor.
Very big.
Big Bick. Yes, that's it. Sorry, that's not too surprised that you got it. And great, really well sung. But as a character, was sort of like, I don't really get your your sort of
but that
what's
problem-
pushing you, what's making you do stuff.
But that problem's with the writing then, not with the direction.
Oh yeah, I mean, but Brecht isn't here, so I can't really complain about him. But that's actually
Or
what I
you
thought.
can.
It's sort of, again, that sort of blurring between musical and opera. It had the pacing of a musical, but sort of was trying to go for the expression of an opera.
Interesting.
It's not that. Actually, that's another thing. It's really weird. It's a normal length, 2 and a bit hours. But the problem is the first act is like 2 hours, and the second half is 30 minutes, or it's maybe like 1.5 hours and 30 minutes. Like the first act felt so long. I was looking the program to check that it was actually 2 acts and not like all the way through. And I think maybe it almost felt like if it was 3 acts, we saw 1 and 2, and then we saw 3. So little happens in 3. I mean, he just gets tried and put to death. Sorry, spoilers. But again, actually, the judge lady that tries him is dressed in this sort of like draggy sort of Margaret Thatcher wig, and she's just wielding an enormous hammer. I was like, that's so fun. I want more Margaret Thatcher drag with a massive hammer, and
More big hammers.
more big hammers.
More big hammers. More duck walking on
More
Travelator.
duck walk. That was not me. But
Fascinating.
Interesting.
I mean, I was very happy I saw it, but it's just I've never been in an audience that just felt off like that. But maybe it's just you also feel bad because, you know, and I think it's important to have like the Kurt Weill stuff because it's very important in terms of like, you know, where theatre and opera has gone from the 20th century. But I mean, it's never really been that well received, the show in this country. It also probably works better in German, because some of the translations were just a bit like the translation was fine, but it's how it was set to the music, and it was sort of stresses were in weird places. Also, because it was opening night, some people were getting the words wrong, as in they got the gist all right, so we'd be fine. But because we can see what they're saying, we know when they say the line the other way around, or they say something else instead of this. Again, that's sort of why it felt a bit sort of
Dress
I don't want to
rehearsal.
say under rehearsed but apparently it was put together quite quickly. But also just like a three show run feels crazy.
That is so much work for so few.
I mean, maybe it's just how they balance the balance the books. I mean, it's expensive putting shows on, and I think it's sold out. I think the whole run
It
sold
did.
out.
I tried
Yeah,
to get a
it did.
ticket.
Which made me think.
Couldn't.
Which makes you think, shoot, that another 3 shows the next week or whatever. Like that means there's a potential more people that could have seen this show.
I would have gone.
Um,
Especially if it is divisive, it makes you want to make up your own mind.
yeah, I had a good
Yeah.
time.
Kind of like Wuthering Heights.
Yeah,
Did
it's so
very-
true.
People didn't like it.
I saw it.
Well, a lot of critics didn't like it, but people wanted to make up their own mind.
yeah.
Well, thank you both. Thank you everybody for joining us again, or for the first time. Thank you everybody for
Which isn't
joining.
the first time. You've got 5 more to listen to.
Thank you so much for joining us. Please do leave us a rating or review if you so wish, and follow us on Instagram at Opera Now Magazine. Take out a subscription if you want even more content online and in the print magazine. And thank you so much for joining us. Join us again in a few weeks' time.
Stay tuned.